Where are you from?
From Brooklyn, New York.
What was it like growing up in Brooklyn, New York?
It was cool. My mom didn't like Brooklyn, so we actually moved out of Brooklyn to Long Island. But then I moved back to Brooklyn after I graduated high school in order to go to college. And it's just, it's New York. You just gotta just go with it. That's it.
Do you come from a family of artists or creators?
I come from a family of entrepreneurs. Everybody got their own business. Everybody has their own drive. It's kind of in our blood. Yeah.
So did you guys have like a family business back in New York?
We all did our own things. And some of us, like I have an uncle who's a barber. I have an uncle who runs a nightclub or like a lounge. My mom, she had a catering business. Well, not catering. My sister did a catering thing for a little bit. My mom had an event planning thing. My aunt, she wanted to do cooking, a cooking business. It's just everybody has their own thing that they all wanted to do, that they did, and whether they still doing it now or they fell off and did whatever else they wanted to do. So this is where we're executors. That's what we do. We get an idea and we execute it.
At what point did you start making art? If at any point.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's really subjective. Art is it's a subjective word, because anything you create is art. Anything anything. So really, when I was young, when I was more into tech, I'm actually still heavy into tech, but when it was mostly tech, I was taking computers apart, making things out of it. Like I took a drum set, one of those drum set things, and I took that apart and made it into actually just a surround sound system in my room. So instead, I switched the inputs to outputs, and it was just a lot of stuff. But that's when it was. From what grade was that? That was 4th grade. That's when the scholastics and stuff was going on. When I got like a little science kit and I was doing stuff with that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Was New York fast for like a young child? Did it seem fast when you were there?
When you born in it, you just in it. You don't look fast until somebody else says it. That's it. You don't notice how fast you go. It's like being in a car. You don't know how fast you're going until something hits you and then you go flying.
Yeah. How old were you when you like first rode the subway by yourself? Or the train?
By myself?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't until I got into college. Because like I said, my mom, I was in Brooklyn till I was about, I want to say maybe 9 or 10. Then we moved to Long Island. And my mom, she didn't like New York. But then when I moved back to New York, when I graduated high school, I was around 17, 18. And that's when I was doing everything on my own out there.
Oh, okay. And where'd you go to college?
Went to Medgar Evers at first, then I transferred to LaGuardia, to LaGuardia Community College.
And what did you major in college?
At Medgar, it was liberal arts. At LaGuardia, it was new media technology.
Oh, okay. So you've always sort of wanted to be in the media, art, creative space?
Yeah, as long as I can create, I'm cool. That's my whole thing. It's just, as long as I'm creating and doing something, getting these ideas out of my head, whether if I'm doing it myself or passing the idea to somebody else to have them do it, that's all that matters to me.
What was the first thing that you made that you consider sort of like a masterpiece? Cause you got some joints in your studio, bro.
A masterpiece?
Yeah.
The children's book I wrote.
Okay.
Wrote a children's book, The Kidnapped Moon.
What was it about?
Little fox named Fair. He had no friends until one night he befriended the moon named Luna. They were friends. They were friends for a long time until one night he went to where he normally went to go meet her. She wasn't there because it was in a new moon phase. So she was obviously was there, but he doesn't know about those phases. So he went searching for her. He thought she was kidnapped. He went searching for her along his journey. He came across four other characters, and they all turned out to be friends with the moon too, and realized that she was gone, and they went looking for her as well. And then they finally found one character, Oda, and she's an owl who's been friends with the moon for a lot longer than they have. And she was the one who explained to them about the whole phase in phases that Luna goes through. And then at the end of that, they met. At the end of that, when they went to go see Luna, when the new moon phase was over, they met one other child. They met one other character, Sean, his little black boy. It's supposed to be the new age Winnie the Pooh.
Ah, I see. And what made you think that, like, what made you say that this is the masterpiece?
Just the story. Sorry, there's a bug.
Oh no, it's good. Bugs are our friends.
Ask me the question again so I can start over. What made me think it was a masterpiece? I'm sorry. I got
yeah. What made you think that it was a masterpiece?
Just the story itself, the message behind it. Because I've always been a fan of astrology. Astronomy. I've always been a fan of astronomy. Astrology, yeah, but astronomy, the study of space itself, always loved it. So because it connected science and just real world feelings that a lot of kids feel when they feel like they're either all alone, or they have no friends, and they don't realize that there are others out there that are just like that. You know what I mean? Other kids their age or other people that feel that same way. So I felt like the message behind that, and then the ending message behind it, along with the song that we put to it. The song that I wrote for me and one other person, Sean Rose, that we wrote, actually expressed that very well, like some Disney shit. That's one thing. I'm a big cartoon person.
Yeah.
So old school Disney, even though it has its dirt when it comes with it, it was still a very, very beautiful era in a sense when it comes to the art behind it.
Yeah. I think my favorite is Aristocats.
Aristocats is fire. Aristocats is fire.
I love Aristocats.
Hercules was lit. The Hercules cartoon, because that was the same era where all their movies, they transitioned to the TV shows perfectly. Then after a while, it just got ass. But Aristocats was lit. One of my favorites is actually the Fox and the Hound. And
Balto?
Balto's good, but my overall is Oliver and Company.
Yeah, Oliver was hard with the spaghetti. The dogs eating spaghetti?
No, that's the Trump. That's Trump. That's not the Trump. That's Lady and the Tramp.
Wait, what's
Oliver and Company's with the little cat, little orange cat, is in New York City. He was a orphan cat. He didn't get picked out of the litter when they were being sold, and he met a group of dogs whose owner was a homeless guy.
Oh yeah.
Then he got adopted by a little rich girl. Then they tried the homeless dude needed to make some money, so he tried to kidnap to write a ransom note. But then he felt bad, so he tried to give it back. Just a whole bunch of stuff. But that was a great movie. Oliver and Company. Check it out.
So you do a ton of things. We talked about the children's books. We talked about some of the mechanical work that you would do as a teenager, and now I understand that you are doing 3D printing.
Yeah, I do sculpting. I 3D sculpt, 3D print. I do fabrication, so I make molds, custom prosthetics, custom almost anything from props to prototypes, action figures, busts, a whole bunch of stuff.
And so, how did you get into the prosthetics and the molds?
Really just, like I said, I like creating. So I think of all avenues that I can really accomplish when it comes to doing what I do. Because obviously, like with certain things I do, I can make it. I thought about what can make what can I do to make it broader? Because there's always more that I can do instead of just sticking into one little box that I found, like one little chair, when there's a whole auditorium of chairs that I can sit in with what I do, if that makes sense. So with the we actually started with adult toys because I make custom adult toys. Then that went to making prosthetic penises or whatnot for TV and film, thanks to a friend of mine, Soretta. She works in hair. She works in makeup. She's like one of the best out there, and she's the one that put me on because I was working at Tyler Perry Studios. They were looking for somebody who made prosthetics, and she's like, "Oh, we got somebody in house." They're like, "Who?" Put my name in the box, made one, and then from there just took off, and it just kept evolving, making it better and better and better with the notes that she gave me after each round, because they kept coming back because obviously it was good, but then they just had their critiques on what to make better, and then it just started escalating from there, which was pretty good. And then from there, that's what led me to do work for P-Valley, and then also other shows for Tyler as well.
And so what is the experience like working on those sets?
Shoot. Okay. So that's a loaded question, because I can either give the real answer or I can give I want to keep getting work answer.
I mean, whatever you feel.
But the real, but in all honesty, it's fun. It has its up and downs just like any other job, but you learn a lot. What makes working on set fun is the people that you work with. That's what really makes it is. Even though the production may be strenuous, or maybe ass, or maybe a headache, where like most productions are, where everything's last minute, everything is a little hectic because people are getting information from this person, from that person, but then it's not the right information, or they're not getting from the right person. It's just a whole debacle. But the people you work with, your crew, that's what makes it somewhat worth it, because they're in it just like you. They have dreams just like you, and other stuff that they want to do that they do outside of it just like you. So everybody's all in the same kind of boat. They're all either entrepreneurs of their own, or they all creatives in their own way. That's why they're in the industry. And then you meet a lot of people, rub elbows with a lot of folks, and then you end up finding yourselves working with them, or them passing your name along in order to get you to a place that you want, that that you've been trying to aim to get to, and vice versa. If especially for me, if I hear about somebody needing this or that, and I know somebody who does it, and I can't, and I don't do it, but I know somebody who does, quick to pass their name along, especially if they do great work, or especially if I know that this is what they're trying to get into. Oh yeah, I know this. He definitely the person you want to go to. I even talk him up. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, it just goes from there. But it's great though. I say that it's not, like I said, it's very, very heavy on the mental health. But because of the long hours, because of the work itself. But as long as you're able to find that balance of taking care of yourself and also doing your work, you'll be good. Just learn how to take breaks. Even though the money's really good, it ain't worth your mental. I had to learn that the hard way myself.
And so what's your ultimate aspiration with all of the art and creative work that you do?
I don't really have one. You said like the end game?
Yeah, like your ultimate goal. Like, what do you see?
I just want to just keep creating. That's all. I just keep creating, and I'd rather just do that and make my money off of doing that, in order to, just to live off of, not just survive, but to live comfortably, where all I'm doing is just creating, and they just want to buy my stuff. That's it. Because somebody asked me, if I had all the money in the world, if I traveled, if I did everything that I could, and I was still at a decent age or whatever, where I'm not all, cripply and whatnot from old age, what would I do? It was a hard question. It was a question I thought about for a second, but then my answer was just build stuff out of wood, like whether it be bedding, chairs and stuff like that, carpentry. because I'm still making stuff. I like DIYs and building things as well. So it's like I would just still make stuff. That's it. That's all I want to do. That's all I like doing. Just making stuff, creating things.
Do you think that your work is changing the world?
I'll say that my work ethic and the work I put out is inspiring other people who have that potential to make a bigger stamp on the world than I did in their life, possibly. Which still technically is me changing the world on a smaller scale, and maybe it is a bigger stamp on their lives than I think that it is, but I think it's helping. I'll say that I think it's helping.
In one of the studio visits that we had, I saw that you made the bear sculptures. Is there any future talks about having those in museums, or are they already in museums?
Nothing's in museums just yet. I would like to get in a museum or even have a public display, like public art display. What you're talking about is Barely Whole. It's one of my brands. So it's a bear. I'm trying not to hit the mic because I keep going this. It's a bear that's been beat up, ear bitten off, Band-Aid on the eye, and then on its chest is a heart that's been stitched back in. So it's like it's been through hell and back, but it's still here. All it did was just patch itself up and keep on keeping on, which is what we need to do. Can't just, what I tell people when they're either grieving, where they're going through something, whether it be, just anything that they're going that has them down, mourn how you mourn, grieve how you grieve, but just don't sit on it. Just don't sit there too long, because then you'll get stuck. Clean yourself up and keep moving. You know what I mean? If it ain't kill you, you're still here. You still got time. You still got the strength to keep pressing forward. So.
Do you feel like earlier you spoke about college. Do you feel like you needed college to accomplish all of the things that you have so far?
No.
Really?
Yes, I do. One, I didn't complete college. My financially cut out, so I had to drop out. But I don't believe, when it comes to artistry, I don't believe it's absolutely necessary. Okay, I'll say it like this. You don't go to college to try to be an artist. That you're just gonna be wasting your money, your parents' money, or whoever money, because the college will not teach you how to be an artist. You have to, if you want to be an artist, you have to actually already have that in you to be an artist. And that's not saying you got to know how to paint, because there's different type of artistry. There's cooking, there's dancing, there's music, there's painting, there's sculpting, there's carving. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that's just creating. That's the art. It's a poetry art, you know what I mean? Spoken word, all of that, that's all art. But if you don't have that in you, you can't go somewhere to try to learn how to do that. You can be inspired, you know what I mean? But college isn't for that. College is to help, if you already have it, it's to help you mold it and learn how to use it. That's what I'll say college is for. Now, college has its benefits. Well, I wouldn't even say the entirety of college, because you could just go take a course, whether it be a course in business management, which is very helpful. Business management, so that way you know how to run your business properly. Certain accounting classes, stuff like that. When it comes to the artistry itself, that's how I feel. But if you're a doctor, which is also shit, being a doctor, all that type of stuff is still art. Is still art as well. That's how I classify it as art. I have a whole brand, Pay the Artist. That's my brand. And all of that is still artistry. Chefs, doctors, therapists, because you actually, it's a practice. You know what I mean? You're practicing it, you're learning it, you put in the same amount of effort and time that you take in any other type of artistry. You're trying to master it. So all of that is art. But if you're a doctor or whatnot, obviously you got to be in school for that. That's where I feel college is the best for those type of professions, whether it be a doctor, therapy, or what not have you, because you need those courses in order to learn all of that shit. Yeah. Told you I could ramble.
Nah, bro, you're brilliant. Like,
I'll be rambling,
brilliant.
and I'll be trying, and I'll be jumping off topic, then jumping back in topic, and in my head as I'm talking, my subconscious is like trying to steer the car while we on a bumpy road, just going.
no, I'm definitely locked in. Like, I'm here with you. Like, it's inspiring for sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but my fault. But the Pay the Artist brand,
Yeah.
that's just back to. Well, this is the play on. Well, not play on. It's to make a statement about artists getting paid for their work and what at their rate, and not what people deem it should cost. You put a price tag on your work because you're the one that put the equity into your work. You put the time into it, so you deem how much that is worth. Not somebody else saying, "Oh, it shouldn't be worth this." "Oh, I don't think it's worth that much." Nah, you can't tell me what the value is. You're not the one that did it.
Right.
I'm the one that put my work into it. I practiced this long in order to get it this way. So yeah, I've been doing Pay the Artist for quite some time. It's been about, I'm gonna say, since 2016. I've had it. I've actually had it on a couple of shows too, like on Tyler Perry Sisters. It was in the very first season. Karen wore a shirt. A lot of actually the cast from Sisters wear my stuff, like DeVal Ellis, him and his wife and kids wear it all the time. But yeah,
And so, are you more so in the fashion realm, or is it like just statement pieces?
it's more a statement piece rather than a
Okay.
clothing line. So
Okay.
it's a brand. I wouldn't call it a
Okay.
clothing line itself.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's more just a brand than anything.
that's dope. I'm gonna check it out for sure. So, for someone watching this who aspires to do what you do, what advice would you have for them?
Do that shit. That's what I say. I say do that shit. Cause don't be afraid. Don't really give a damn about what other people may think or how it looks. Do it and complete it. Because as you're doing it, it's gonna look like ass. But you won't know what the final look will look like until it's done. I'll say that. So do it and complete it. Don't stop. Because that shit, like I said, you'll be working on some shit, and the whole process will be stressful. The shit start looking ugly. All of a sudden, you start doubting it. But then once you see the complete product, that's when it's like, oh, this shit's actually fire. So yeah, do that shit. Complete it.
That was good.